Hey there, Gundam fans. Phoenix Destiny here, bringing you another Mobile Suit Corner. Rather, this is a re-upload of a previous take I did because, well, there were some things going on in real life. But anyways, I'm going to keep things short and simple this time, so let's get on with the show. The year is Universal Century 0079. Several months after the war had begun, Project V was underway and gave creation to the Gundam, the gun cannon, and the gun tank, which was stationed aboard one of the Earth Federation's premier carriers at the time, the White Base. And while the Gundam was gathering battle data through each of Amuro's battles, it was becoming increasingly obvious to the Earth Federation they needed a workhorse to try to counter GM and Zaku because unfortunately Amuro alone could not win the war. So, what did he do to decide to remedy this problem? They decided, you know what, why don't we come up with a way to mass produce the Gundam? And technically speaking, that did happen, but that's for another Mobile Suit Corner video. As far as the more immediate response, they made a bunch of these little mobile suits you see here known as the RGM-79 GM. Basically speaking, a GM is nothing but a mass-produced Gundam, as you can see in its shape. Even right down to its choice of weapons, because it also has a beam spray gun, and it too also has a beam saber. Now, the thing is, when it comes to these weapons, and as a little bit of a fun fact about the beam saber for the GM that you see here, this is still Gundam's beam saber. For whatever reason, in the Breaker series, Bandai basically did not want to give us the GM's actual beam saber, which you can see stored in the backpack here. But that's more game talk. I'm more focused on the anime talk for now. So basically, thousands upon thousands of these GMs was made to combat the GM and Zaku. And the thing is, these GMs didn't really have good armor, much like how the Zaku didn't have good armor, but that's because, well, it was a mass production mobile suit and some corners had to be cut. But nonetheless, the GM was actually pretty formidable in the hands of talented pilots. In fact, a common misconception about the GM is that, well, it quite frankly is underwhelming compared to the Gundam. But there is a trio of pilots that was stationed in Australia at the time known as the White Dingo team. These three basically showcased what the GM could do at its full potential. But speaking about the weapons, as I said, most GMs carried a beam spray gun, which was basically a miniaturized beam rifle, and they also carried their own beam saber. As far as this GM, well, the only other weapon it has is the head Vulcans, which was standard. So, you know, pretty standard fare for the mobile suit that Gundam was bare bones, so GM is even more bare bones, but it nonetheless provided, well, it was a pretty good workhorse for the Earth Federation. And it even got an update 7 years later, but once again, that's for a little further down the line. For now, though, the only real thing I can say about the GM is the fact that, honestly, it's a lot more formidable than a lot of people would think. But in the words of the great Char Aznable, it's not the mobile suit that matters, but the pilot. Hence why the White Dingo team was able to showcase this thing's full potential. And game-wise, well, this suit is pretty simple too, because it only has the beam spray gun, it has a mounted beam saber in the backpack for an OP action, and head Vulcans. not much else I can say about this thing other than, well, a little fun fact. And the fun fact is that I'm pretty sure in most media, the Gym shield isn't necessarily this shield, but the Gundam's actual shield. Not sure if that was true in the anime. My memory's kind of failing me on this one. But all in all, the only thing I could say about the Gym is what you see is what you get. A workhorse. Nothing more and nothing less. And now to head to the garage to get out the other grunt for this video. Alright, and we're back. So, as far as the Mobile Suit on discussion this time, well, fans of the original Gundam series, and fans of Gundam alike, pretty much recognize this iconic mobile suit, the Zaku II. Once again, in the year 0079 of the Universal Century, this was considered to be Zeon's mainline mobile suit for quite some time, and in fact, this suit, along with the Zaku I, was basically responsible for the idea of mobile suits being made, because up until that point, well, humans basically fought with nothing but pretty much what we use to this very day. Jets, tanks, helicopters, that sort of thing. But then the idea came out, what if there was a humanoid weapon that could basically function like a tank, but, well, be able to do things that a tank could not? And thus, the mobile suits came into play, with the Zaku II being particularly infamous for one reason, because at the time, there was a major battle that happened before the one-year war known as the Battle of Loom. And in fact, there was one person who actually gained his rise to fame and infamy because of the Battle of Loom, of which I'll be explaining his mobile suit next. But for now, though, the Zeon Zaku II. Much like the Gym, it doesn't have that many bells and whistles, although the difference is, both with this suit and with the Gym, you will not see this with Gundam types across a lot of series, but one idea that I've liked about the grunt suits is that, or at least specifically about the GM and the Zaku, is that as long as the weapons wasn't reliant on a reactor, they could use just about anything that the rest of their army could use. So technically speaking, there was no quote-unquote default weapon that the Zaku II could use, at least in universe. But in most media, you will see it using two of its weapons that are quite famous. The 120mm machine gun, also known as the Zaku machine gun in the Breaker games. It also has Zaku bazooka. Nothing real fancy, gets the job done. And also, in the previous take I didn't show this off, but I decided to show this off. Another weapon that the Zaku was using for quite some time is a thrown grenade known as the Cracker Grenade. And as far as the Cracker Grenades go, they're basically thrown hand grenades that, technically speaking, could also be reconfigured to function as a flashbang. Now then, when it came to the Zaku II, it didn't have a beam saber. because it couldn't use any beam weaponry because of its inferior reactor. But as far as its actual weapon, well, it was known as a heat hawk or a heat tomahawk. And as far as the rest of its lore goes, the Zaku wasn't known particularly for its battle prowess so much as it was manufactured in high numbers, a true mass production suit that you could say. And as I also showcased, or rather as I told about in the first Gundam video that I made, specifically the first mobile suit corner I made, this mobile suit was not able to enter and exit re-enter the atmosphere, as a certain Xeon pilot found out the hard way. But nonetheless, they could function in space and on the ground. And much like the GM, there was many, many variants of this thing, a lot of which basically didn't pop up in other media until Gundam Battle Operation 2. But as far as the Zaku II goes, it doesn't have any fancy bells or whistles about it, but in a lot of numbers, they could definitely be lethal. Make no mistake about that. And to go on to the last portion of this video, I'm basically going to have to go request that a certain suit come out of retirement, so give me 1 second. Okay, and we're back. So, what suit am I showcasing this time? It's still the Zaku II, but it's known as the Zaku II Commander type officially, and this Zaku may perhaps be one of the most recognizable Zakus of all time throughout Gundam history, Char Aznabul's Zaku II. And a little bit of a fun fact, this is not its original paint scheme because in the anime, it actually was colored a salmon pink. I'm guessing because of animation constraints at the time. But when Gundam The Origin came out, it was sporting a color that I feel like is a bit more appropriate, so I decided to dress the Zaku in a more, well, basically in his colors from Gundam The Origin. So the thing of it is, combat-wise, this Zaku is the exact same as the mass production Zaku's, with one famous exception. The fact that this suit, well, is said to be 3 times faster than any Zaku on record, though that was notably due to how Char Aznable basically made this thing dance on the battlefield. And it was also how he gained his moniker, the Red Comet, also because of his feats during the Battle of Loom, in which he took out several Earth Federation ships to basically secure Zeon a big victory for Operation British that day. Aside from that, his Zaku II has been featured in a lot of media, and the only thing I can say is, while on the outside, again, this looks like the normal command type, make no mistake, this Zaku's a fast little bugger in the anime. And of all of the Zakus, this is the only one to give the Gundam trouble, but mainly that's because Char was a skilled pilot. As far as the weapons that he used, well, technically speaking, he could just use about any weapon that a normal Zaku II could use, although in Origin, he even goes so far as to have an anti-ship rifle similar to another Zeon mobile suit, the Zuda from Gundam Igloo. But unfortunately, that weapon is not in this game, so I can't showcase that. So, as far as the actual showcase, now that I've gotten all the anime stuff out of the way, Well, the Zaku's basically have two weapons that are decent. You have the 120 machine gun, which is good for building up your combo gauge, and it can be pretty good at sunlocking depending on how you build it. Then you also have the bazooka, which fires shots that cause an instant knockdown. That's definitely helpful. And then you've got the Heat Hawk, which it's slow, but it can land quite a punch, and it even has a charge attack too, which can be charged up 3 levels to really send the enemy flying as far as you can see. Aside from that, not much else I can say except, well, let's just see. Let's test the reaction of your brand new mobile suit. At any rate, until the next Mobile Suit Corner, Gundam fans, this is Phoenix Destiny, signing off.